Stepgun here, and today we have the big comparison. One company, two guns. Which one's better? Is it opinions or is it facts? I present to you the Glock 19 and the Glock 48.
Alright everyone, welcome back again. It is the video I've been promising you, the Glock 19 and Glock 48 comparison. Alrighty, so let's go ahead. Which one's better? It is a hard question to answer. Alright, before we begin, let me go ahead and show you. Magazine's clear, chamber is clear, gun is safe. Same here, magazine is clear. Chamber is clear, gun is safe. Alright guys, well you got two very famous carry guns, the Glock 19 and the Glock 48, okay? Glock come out with the 48 not long ago, and then as always, everyone knows the Glock 19, right? Well, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I alternate them. I carry both, to be honest with you. I really do. They're both really good carry guns. Just the size alone, I mean, as you can see, you know, the hands, the way they fit for a good medium-sized gun. The 48, it gets a lot of my time. It really does. I carry it a lot. One thing that I'll go ahead and jump right out and tell you guys is that the 48, if you see one of my previous videos, look at that slide. It has a way thinner slide than the infamous Glock 19 here, right? Okay, but the Glock 48, it's you know, when it first came out, looked at it, I was like, oh, I'm not getting it. It's the same as the Glock 19, and then I went into Arsenal Arms, as always. Shout out to Arsenal Arms down here in South Florida for always helping me and taking care of me with my gun needs. I picked one up, and I was like, wow. This slide is super thin on this thing. This is awesome. How do they fit 15 round mags in this thing? Well, everything that's good comes with something, right? These are the magazines that come with the Glock 48 10 round mags instead of the famous 15 round mags that come with the Glock 19. For some people that could turn them away, but honestly, I mean, you still got 10 rounds. You can't beat it, but some people really need those 15 rounds to carry in their pocket for when the war breaks out and they're carrying their gun, they're ready to fight, right? It's all opinion, guys. That's the truth. There's no facts on this gun as to which one's better and why. You guys can comment below, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you it's all an opinion. Because when you go into a gun store and you're buying a gun, one thing you always do before you buy a gun is you pick it up and feel it, all right? You feel a gun the way it feels in your hands, okay? You grab something. The first time I picked up a 1911, I was like, oh my goodness, this thing feels amazing. And then when I picked up a Glock, kind of the same thing. I was like, oh my goodness, it feels amazing. You know, and you get some people that are on the Walther or the HK, you know, with the curved back, or the M&P, they're like, oh, that fits my hand perfect. It's all personal preference, guys. That's exactly right. So one thing about the Glocks, okay? Glock has always had this cool little plastic checkering around the gun. It really grabs your hands. I love it. Well, I looked at this 48, and as soon as I picked it up, this right here really turned me off. I don't know what Glock was thinking when they did this. This is probably the only complaint I have about the gun. This is what separates the Glock 48 from being the perfect concealed handgun, in my opinion. Now, you can go out and you can buy the rubber wraps, you know, and it's got the fancy checkering. You can put over here with a heat gun and heat it up, but this right here just doesn't feel that aggressive to me. I don't really understand why they couldn't take the same checkering that you have here and put on the Glock 48. Okay, so that's something to really consider as well. Another thing they did too, I'm guessing with the thinness of the gun, as you can look here, is the little indent you have right here on the Glock 19. It doesn't have it here on the actual grip. It's just a little small notch here. All right. But, you know, besides the checker and the Glock 48, in my opinion, is way better. That's the gun I carry because it feels good to my hands, okay? And then I asked a friend of mine yesterday, we were talking about this, and he is just the opposite of me. He's like, the Glock 19, it feels too good to my hands. I don't like the 48. So that's why it's all personal preference, guys, to be honest with you. All right, on to the disassembly of these guns. Glocks are awesome for one thing, and it is taking them apart. They're super easy. As here, you can grab here. You have a notch here, and you have a notch on this side as well. Of course, the gun is clear, but always double check. You can track this slide as many times as long as you're checking it's safe. Point the gun in a safe direction. Grab both notches, pull them down, pull your trigger, and the slide comes off. Look at there, guys. Reach down in here, pull your guide rod spring out, push the barrel, and there you go. The barrel comes out of the gun, just like so. The Glock 48's the same way. Make sure it's clear, point in a safe direction. I pull it back like this. A 1911, I've taken them apart so many times that I've just gotten in the habit of grabbing a gun like this. You can do it like this. Some people will take and they'll push the gun down. You can pull them down too, but it's all personal preference. So you'll pull them down, release, and there you go. You shoot the slide right off. Guide rod spring comes out and your barrel comes out. Now when you take these apart, you can look at the guide rod springs here. Obviously they're very different, okay? So the Glock 19, excuse me, Gen 5 here, it's got a different spring than the Gen 4. The 48 is still a relatively new gun for Glock, so obviously it is a Gen 5. You know, you got the Glock 19 Gen 4. It's got a completely different spring here, but right off the bat, you can see that the gun is pretty much relative in the same length, but these the springs here are completely different. So that is one difference of these two guns. And you look at the barrels, as you can see here, don't roll away, spring. As you can see, the barrels here, the Glock 19 is a little bit thicker barrel, okay? Obviously, that Glock 48 has that super thin slide, but the barrels are pretty much the same. The 48, in my opinion, I'm not quite sure yet, to be honest with you. Comment below if they do have it yet, is a threaded barrel for the 48, not that I know of. I know the Glock 19, people have the threaded barrels, and they're putting everything on them, but as you can see here too, the Glock 48 barrel, it's got kind of a rise right here where the slide would come over the barrel, obviously, that the Glock 19 doesn't have, if you can see it there. It's like a little ramp, okay? And then when you get to looking at the slides, obviously, both of these guns, every concealed gun I have night sights on them. I'll put them on. So both of these guns here, let's hit my camera, they do have Ameriglows. Or excuse me, this one is Ameriglow, and this one is True Dot. You know, I'll put night sights on these guns. And that was one of the things I swapped out. But as you can look, this is the big thing right here. This is what gets people. This is the decision maker for a lot of people, is the thickness of that slide, okay? It's hard to really, you know, maybe pick up on camera. You know, you can see it. But when you're carrying a gun in your pocket, all right, that thickness of that slide makes a big difference. You know, you're walking around a mall all day, or you're out, it's very, very hot. It makes a difference, you know, if you're layered up in clothing, obviously multiple shirts and stuff like that, it makes a difference as well too. So that's a big thing people consider with the difference in the Glock 19 and the Glock 48. On to the lowers, you can tell these are both striker fired pistols, the infamous Glock, right? You can see your rails here. One thing about Glock is, you know, they always have had the safety trigger here, where the trigger won't move until you press the middle detent here. So Glock, you know, the 48, I guess their compromise was, for the not so great grips, checkering here, was this checkering they have sort of on the trigger. So that is definitely different than the Glock 19 here. All right, on to the reassembly of the Glock 19 here. This gun is awesome because it's so easy to put back together. Run your barrel through, take your spring, put your spring in the detent. As always, point this away from you because you don't want that guide rod spring to hit you in the face. And it'll go right into the detent here, okay? Very easy to put back together. Slide it on the rails here, slide it all the way back. I'll lock the slide and send it home, and I'll make sure the gun's in a safe direction, and I'll test fire it and make sure it's everything is operating as normal. Glock 48 is the same way. And you'll take it, you'll insert your barrel right through here. Give me a second. There we go. Then you go ahead and take your spring, put your spring in. Same thing as the Glock 19. You want to get it in that groove right there. Take your slide, put it on your rails. There you go. Send it back. Now you want to test fire, make sure everything works on the gun, which it does work. All right, good deal. So like I mentioned, when it comes to comparing both of these guns, all right, the facts, it's going to come down to the shooter and it's going to come down to the person. These two guns are amazing firearms. You know, the Glock 19, the Gen 5, they added that flared mag well too. That is just, you know, me being a competition shooter, that's something I absolutely love right there. But it's all personal preference, guys. It's so funny sometimes you get on YouTube and people get into the huge they get into the huge arguments in the comment section. They're like, oh my goodness, no, the 1911's better. Or, no, the Glock 19, the Glock 48's better. No, the Glock 26 is better. But it's all a personal preference because you see, our hands, everybody's hands are completely different. The way people shoot are completely different as well. And second of all, you know, the way people carry a firearm is different. You got people that carry, you know, inside waistband, you know, on their hip. There's people carry the front of their pants, the back. There's people that carry in a coat pocket. So it's all personal preference, guys. In my opinion, the Glock 48 gets the W for me. As I mentioned, like the thin slide and everything about this gun, I love it. Now, if Glock would have done this checkering differently from the factory, and who knows when the Gen 6 that comes out, you know, the Glock 48 Gen 6 and maybe the Glock 19 Gen 6, who knows how it's going to be and how things are going to change. But if they would have put the checkering on this gun that's the same as this, it wouldn't even be a question for me. So that's my opinion, guys, is the Glock 48 is the in-depth winner.
As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Be sure to like and subscribe for more videos. They're going to be coming soon. Something you want to see, comment below. The Glock 19 and the Glock 48. Was it really facts? In my opinion, the 48's better. But what's yours? Comment below and let's find out. Step gun out.